Clark, I shouted impatiently. What does it say? Clark began to read the letter out loud. Dear Gretchen and Clark, he started. The paper fluttered between his trembling fingers. We're sorry to do this to you, but we had to leave. A few weeks ago, a swamp monster invaded our house. We captured it in the room upstairs. Then we didn't know what to do with it. We didn't have a car, so we couldn't get to a phone to call for help. We've lived in terror for the past few weeks. We were afraid to let the monster out. It's so loud and angry all the time. We know it would have killed us. My knee started to wobble as Clark continued. We didn't want to tell your parents about the creature. If we did, they wouldn't have let you come. We don't get many visitors here. We wanted so much to see you, but I guess we were wrong. You should have gone to Atlanta with your mother and father. I guess we were wrong to let you stay. They guess they were wrong? They guess? I shrieked. Can you believe them?
You can't scare me. Not with the basement of botany. Maybe a sentient townie. Calling out creep.
Gun.
Overeating salamis.
Big knife.
Flamethrower.
HIV positive.
Gas station sushi.
COVID and with no health care and underlying conditions.
Anal fissure.
These are ways to kill a monster.
Yes. Also, if you so much, you run out.
You have to edit already.
Yeah, but I know exactly where it is. Boo dudes. Yeah. This is the story of how to kill a monster. I'm your host, a big package of ground beef. And I'm here with grade A pork chops. Hey, looking good, my man.
Speaking of chops, right now my beard's a little long, but only the chops are growing. It's longer than the beard part.
Oh, really? I think
it
looks
like a Chester Arthur of such. See?
Oh,
like this,
okay.
This is dangling.
Sure. You work it into the beard though. It looks good. Looks legit.
Thanks, but I can't work it the same way you can.
Oh, well, some of us are gifted and talented, and others are just in normal second grade.
That's fine.
G&T, remember G&T? Now it stands for gin and tonic, now that I'm an adult.
Yeah. Well, ours was called Windows.
Your gifted and talented group was called Windows?
I think so. Strange, right?
Weird. I wonder what that means. It
means that you could see where you're going and you have a future.
Oh.
All the other kids were called Basement. Dumpster trash.
Wow. Was your school funded by and hosted by Bill Gates? Windows.
Sure wasn't.
Wow. Okay. Well, so Dave, we're coming off the heels of our 2-year anniversary episode.
And we must be waiting in line because we bumped into the back heels of our special Halloween episode. Happy Halloween!
Hey, happy Halloween! I'm scared. I don't know about you.
Yeah, man, I'm shaking in my boots.
Oh my! Don't say boo. I get scared.
I gotta say boots. How about I'll say outdoor sneakers.
Outdoor sneakers sounds good. Thanks.
Oh no, it has sneak in it. What if a ghost sneaks up on us?
I pray that doesn't happen. Thanks to everybody for listening and for our special call-in guests. That was fun.
It was incredible. We got so much love and hate pouring in, and we asked for both. So, I mean, my heart was so full.
Yeah.
That it needed to take a nap and had a crazy, Thanksgiving night dump after of all the love.
Restless night of bloated farts.
And our on top of that, too, our anniversary Calling All Creeps bundle that we made sold out in less than 30 minutes of launching, which was incredible.
Amazing.
And so many, the names that I saw in those were people that, we've killed before. A lot of big names that reach out to us all the time. Of course, our boy, Real Mike Jones, was on that.
Fake Mike Jones.
Shout out to Real Mike Jones. Yeah. But Fake Mike Jones.
Yeah.
He's the real one.
Real
I hope I sent it to the real one. But Yeah. So thank you for that. And just boo to you because it's the
Hell yeah.
Halloween time.
Dave, congrats to you. It's really your toy store, and you spent all this time making these toys by hand. It's amazing. It's incredible. So congrats to you.
Thank you. We still got some R.L. Steins.
Yeah, some R.L. Slimes.
We still got some R.L. Steins. The little R.L. Slime. Oh, yeah. Don't sue me. TM, don't sue me.
Parody.
I'm so afraid he's going to sue me. I need to get an LLC.
Famously litigious.
Yeah. I don't know. Because the mole on the figure is just it's just positioned just right.
That's the only thing you colored, right? Is the
I
mole.
should have. Damn it. I should have. Yours is in the mail. You could see. But
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, we got some R.L. Steins. I made some extra R.L. Slimes. Mm-hmm. I made a bunch of extras just to have. I figure if we're ever out, we can throw those to people and stuff.
It's very satisfying to see the pictures that you took of an army of RL Slimes. It was just lovely to see.
It took a lot of each one of those, just without like curing them and like everything, just to produce each one it's 5.5 hours to make one of those
Jesus
figures.
Christ.
So it's a little workshop I got going.
Well, it's a labor of love. Dave, before we dive in, and I know I said I wanted to sort of not expedite the episode, but I do have a timeline. But I do want to ask you, because this is the spooky season, and this will be our last episode coming out before November. Do you have any spooky ghost stories from your own life or experience? Anything ever happened to you or people you know?
I do have some stories about people I know, but there's always the ones that are like, ooh, it's kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
I had one where this is where I learned about my extreme anxiety and depression, and I just became an insomniac and stopped sleeping, and all I would do was like clean out the closet at my parents' house. Mm-hmm. It was a rough time. This was like post-college after I graduated.
Right.
And I got really depressed, and I went through all this stuff that like my grandma had given me, who had passed, who I was really close with and stuff. And that night, I found the 2 Furbies that she bought me and my brother, and I put them up in the top. And they were dead. And one decided to come to life on its own that I put in the top of the closet by itself in the middle of the night. And also, I had not slept for like... I think it was like a 3-day stretch of no sleep. And that night I lay down and started seeing things and I lost it. And later I learned from things that like sometimes sleep and medication is a strong thing to have.
Yeah, it's a bad combo.
It was a bad combo, but that was a very spooky thing for me. That was my spooky thing. Because I couldn't get it to turn on because I was like, this is funny and I want to turn on this. I couldn't get it to turn on, but in the middle of the night, in the closet, it decided to wake up. That scared the shit out of me.
My sister has 2 kids, and so there's toys all over that house. And she texted me. I mean, this was a long time ago now, probably like 6 months ago. But it was so funny to read because it was like it was the middle of the night, and she gets kind of spooked out. And my niece has a Tickle Me Elmo, and it just went off in the middle of the night from downstairs. So it was sort of this echoey and so she just, the way she like wrote it, and she like woke up her husband and was like she was like, it's Elmo.
Elmo? He's in the house.
Which is horrifying. It's like there is a scene in almost every scary movie, right, where there's like a child's toy. It's like this thing that is otherwise innocent comes to life. Hey, RL with the dummy.
RL, yeah. I watched the new Child's Play last night. Aubrey Plaza is not a convincing mother. No. They keep making jokes about her being way too young, and I'm like, you just wanted her in this movie, and it doesn't fit.
Right.
She's too quirky and fun to be like a down on her luck mom.
And she could be like, I don't know, make her a sister or something, like an older sister.
And everyone's like, is that your sister? And she's like, I had a busy, sweet 16. And I'm like, why you just... Come on.
just change the character. It's a whole different movie, basically.
And Luke Skywalker is Chucky.
Oh.
Which is, I couldn't unhear it the whole time.
Oh, Hamill is Chucky in that movie?
Yeah, Mark Hamill's Chucky in that movie.
Whoa, I didn't even put that together.
Because it's got like a touch of the Joker from the Batman animated series, which if you haven't revisited that, highly recommend.
Yeah.
They scored every episode individually with like the little orchestra. incredible. Yeah.
Plus, you got Hamill in the mix. The new Child's Play is a little too close. Like some of the deaths were like a little bit Saw-ish, like a little too like torture porny. Where the first ones are like charming in how insane they are. Even though like there are some crazy deaths in those too, but I don't know. And the new one was all right, but you don't have to see it.
You don't have to. It's on Prime though if you want to.
Yeah.
But if you have the AMC app, I'm so excited. My favorite Halloween movie, Carl Germ, famously the creator of Where's the Witch?
Shout out.
And every F&F podcast, is the person who turned me on to this. I think it was like a 2007 movie, 2008. It's called Trick or Treat.
Oh,
and
right.
I went to a Spirit Halloween, and they have a whole section for it now. It's my favorite thing that Anna Paquin's in. I feel like her role in there really suits her big tooth gap. I'm just kidding. I just never thought she's never a convincing actress in my mind. But she's in that, and it's the best Halloween movie of all time.
Wow, I haven't seen it.
I'll call it out. Oh, watch it. It's on AMC right now. It is the best. It's basically, think like New Orleans is to like, it's like, oh, Mardi Gras. It's about a small town that basically is the New Orleans for Halloween, and it's 3 tales that happen simultaneously or 4, I guess, and they all kind of are happening at the same time on Halloween and weave together. It's perfect.
New Orleans is haunted as fuck.
It sure is.
So much misery and horror over there.
Yeah.
Shout out Louisiana listeners. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry it's so haunted there. Hope you're not haunted.
Do me a favor. Go look in a mirror right now.
Mm-hmm.
Go look at your family photos. Are they all black and white and look like no one's smiling and have tattered? Yeah, you're a ghost the whole time. Yep. That's because Louisiana didn't even exist. Ooh.
Oh, scary.
I got a shout out to Louisiana for this book, though. But yeah, originally you were saying ghost stories. Do you have a ghost story? I know I shared mine. Actually, we both shared our ghost stories in the YouTube video with Lou.
Oh, that's right. Yep. That was fun.
It was.
No, I mean, we both grew up in houses where people died. Not to speak for you, Dave, but I believe that's the story. And
I killed them.
Yep, we both murdered them. And I'll delete this. And so
the cops
don't show up and kill my dog. Yeah, in my house, which was built in the 70s, I mean, nothing crazy, but I was a child for a lot of it, so I was kind of spooked out anyway. But there were a few things like, there's one time I was playing with my sister, and she, I don't know, I went in the closet and I was hiding in there, and it was a walk-in closet, and I pulled it shut, and I couldn't get out of the fucking closet. Like I couldn't push it open. It felt like somebody was holding it, and I mean, truly, really, like this sticks with me. Where it's like when there's resistance because like it opens slightly, but you can't do it.
And you were like a ripped kid
for
too.
sure.
Like
I'm
so strong.
I mean, at that point, benching probably 350.
I'd say so.
Now I'm up to a gentleman's 700.
351.
Yeah. Yeah, and when I came out, my sister was nowhere. Like it finally burst open, and like my sister was nowhere to be found. So whatever, that could have been her or just me, like being a dumbass. But it felt.
You ever reach out to her about that?
No, I should.
Let's get her on the call right now.
And then there's another thing where I think about this a lot, actually, where my grandma, R.I.P. to my grandma, she was over one time, and all of us went out except for her for a walk. She was kind of chilling there. And she said, when we came back, she said she thought one of us was home because she heard somebody walking around upstairs. And I didn't really think about it at the time, but now I'm like, oh, fuck. That's terrible.
Spooky.
But my mom was like, yeah, all right, grandma. Like, because whatever, she's old. But yeah. And then I have some relatives who live in a house in New Jersey, actually up by Riverdale. What's the fucking town? Butler. And they live in like this BUTT-Lur. And they live in a house like sort of in the woods there, and it's very old. And like there's two there's actually 2 people buried on the property. They're like fucking Civil War soldiers or some shit. And in their house is a portrait of the tree where they're buried with like the 2 divots on either side of it. It's like it's very fucked up. I don't know why that's there or what the origin is, but the house was passed down to them from like their grandmother. And
Yeah, throw that painting out.
I would for sure throw that painting out. And
well, no, I would probably keep it. I mean, realistically, I would keep it. But the other thing too is like, are those technically your bones now? Like when you buy that house, do you get those bones?
I mean, they're on your property.
But if you like dig up those bones, is like America gonna come and be like, they were patriots, leave them alone?
I mean that could be.
Because if they're buried up, because we're up north, so
yeah,
and they were probably good guys. I hope.
Who
Who knows?
I would hope so, but you never know. But
you never know.
Yeah, there's it's just fucked. Like the stories they tell are so fucked up. It's like their son said he like put his head on the pillow and heard music in the pillow. I was like, why are you here? Like, and my
I love that. Imagine if a ghost was like, blah, and you're like, why? What the fuck, man? Why are you here? Like, what are you?
Well, I mean, to the people, like, move. Like,
oh yeah.
And I would do that to the ghost.
But
too.
it is very Goosebumps. It's just like, yeah, we got to move. This house was left to us. We got rid of our old house.
Yeah. I mean, it's a free house, right? And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And there's like stained, like some of the windows they have are stained glass. It's like a
That's
very
beautiful.
unique house. But it is, you go in and you're like, oh, it's haunted here. Absolutely.
Yeah. But to be fair with the housing market, how it is and how expensive areas in New Jersey are, like if my kid was like, I put my head down and I hear music, I'd be like, save money on AirPods. This is great.
Yeah.
What are they bumping?
It's a lullaby, right?
Yeah. It's just
and
like
then his mom
old.
said she gets like a little push sometimes, and she just talks to it. She's like, hey, stop it. And then it stops until the next time. And I'm like, you guys are lunatics, first of all.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I told you on that other one I told about my dad's cousin, who they bought a house that was on an old schoolhouse. And it was an old schoolhouse back when, and there's like a well, all this crazy shit. And their kid used to talk to somebody, and they'd be like, what's going on? And he was like very young, like I think like 3, maybe like 3, 4, somewhere around there. And he doesn't remember any of this too, because he's like, I guess he's a little bit older than we are.
Okay.
And they said he'd talk and talk and talk, and they would sit and listen, and he would talk to him, and he would be like, yes, master, and talk to master all the time. As like a little child. And then, long story short, they walked in one time, and they said the mother saw a face. I think it was the mother or father saw a face, and it went out the window. And downstairs, they were washing the dishes. It was a room right above, and they saw it come down, the light, and come right in at them. Like something was flying at the window, like a bird. And they were like, fuck this. And they learned that the schoolmaster was actually buried on the property because he lived in the schoolhouse. That was his house.
Great.
He was teaching their kid ABCs.
Yeah.
And shit.
And
that's fucked.
I guess his preferred title is master.
I guess. Well, it's that long ago that you were the schoolmaster. That was like the term. Right. That's how they justified it.
I hate it. I hate all
and
that.
I heard it, like, hearing it from them, I'm like, this seems like a little tale that you'd read in, like, scary stories to read in the dark. But it was pretty crazy. Yeah, so anyway, like, I would just be like, fuck this, I'm gonna die. But, like, I would die somewhere else so I didn't have to, like, hang out with that old, like, can you think of anybody worse than, like, a schoolmaster? Because that was definitely when you could still hit the kids. Like, I would hate him to be like, your grammar is atrocious. And I'd be like, dude, I'm dead. Leave me alone.
I'm trying to find the light.
Yeah. I'm trying to ghost text.
Yeah.
Imagine if you die and you're stuck with the technology you had. So there's, like, some, like, sad kid ghost that's just listening to hit clips, and their Tamagotchi is dead and remains dead, but they can still play with their Ghostagotchi.
Somebody died in like 2003 when we were just figuring out MP3 players, and they have like a Zune or one of those. I had one of these big MP3 players that like pre-iPod, and it could hold a lot of stuff, but it was the size of a brick, and it was so unwieldy to like sort through songs. What a nightmare that would be.
It had a feature that the iPods didn't have, though, that you could tie a note through it and threaten somebody by throwing it through their front window.
That's right. Which would come in handy now in 2020.
It sure would. Do you think, like, if Justin Bieber died, his curse would be like he'd be a ghost and he'd meet other ghosts and be like, "Hey guys, look who it is! It's Justin Bieber," and they'd be like, "Who are you? Like some sort of Ricky Martin? Because like he died somewhere where all the ghosts died in like the early aughts."
Yeah.
So no one knows who he is. And he's like, "No."
That would be his hell. No fame.
Yeah, that would be his very bad Black Mirror / Twilight Zone episode.
Oh my god.
But anyway, we got a book to do, and we're cooking today because it's Halloween, and I want to eat some candy. Me so hungry. What are you being for Halloween?
Well, I was gonna be Dale Gribble from King of the Hill, but now probably nothing. Like I don't want to spend the money if I'm literally not doing anything. We're actually going to a wedding on Halloween, and it's
Just be Dale Gribble there.
well, it's a non-dress up wedding, even though it's on Halloween. Not great.
Oh, so you can't wear a costume to their wedding?
No.
Do you know what I would be? Bride. I would never be invited to a wedding ever again.
I want to come in a hot dog suit.
That would be great. I mean, it would make the dance floor better, but when you're social distancing, I don't know if you'd want to even dance floor, because I know you like to bump and grind.
That's for sure.
My girlfriend, we're being Timmy and Tommy from Animal Crossing.
Oh, cute.
The two shopkeepers, the sons of the Baron, Tom Nook. But
are you doing something?
Something like we're trying to find something. We have something going on, but because I'm at the comic shop that day too.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out I'm gonna have a separate costume for the comic shop. Either I'm going to wear my Pikachu onesie, and Craig, buddy of the pod from the Disney Dunces podcast, who sent us a shout out, is going to wear his Sonic onesie. But depending on the weather, if not, I may hop on to eBay. We are smack dab next to a Dunkin' Donuts. Mm-hmm. So my idea is to buy Dunkin' Donuts aprons and T-shirts and everything and pretend we are Dunkin' Donuts employees all day.
Hell yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, all right. So we got some time. We're at 25 minutes in. I think it's about time to start talking about this book.
Let's do it, baby.
And it is How to Kill a Monster.
I've heard of it.
I like that you discussed Saw before when we were talking about Child's Play, because I felt this book was very kind of like Saw / Hostel / it was like
It was Saw light.
You're trapped in a house. Find your way out.
Yep.
This book really gets cooking around halfway.
Yeah, it does. I thought that was going to be a fake out, but it is not.
No, it rules.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. How to Kill a Monster is book 46. Came out in August of 1996.
Yep.
We're just going to get to the song now because it's going to be the same until October of 1996. So from August to October, the main song, and you're going to know a lot about this when you go to that wedding, is The Macarena by Los Del Rios.
What's not to like?
That was a cultural touchstone at that point.
For sure.
It was everywhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You couldn't escape it.
World changing. Everybody knows the Macarena.
Everybody does. It's dance moves, and you don't even really... Some people like really start grinding when they're doing it, but really you just gotta do the hands. It's the least... Oh, at the end, you gotta shake your butt, but you can even kind of be like, ha ha ha, and then walk away. You don't gotta...
Yeah, you do the Dr. Evil version, which has supplanted the real version in my mind anyway, where you just swivel your hips lightly and you go, huh?
It's really funny.
It's good. It's funny.
If you do the Macarena, and then when you get your hands down, you pull your pants down and just fire a shit on the ground. Don't actually do that, but in my head, I was like, that is the funniest outcome.
And then you go, huh?
Yeah. You ever see that? Did I send you that video of the guy who slam dunks and goes, and one, and like the shoe brand, and then pulls his like shorts down and just fires a poop onto the ground?
No, what the hell?
Somebody sent me this at work once. They were like, hey, I saw this video and I knew you'd love it. And in my head, I was just like, why do you think of me when this man shits?
Yeah.
And then also I was like, yeah, this is 100% my demographic. You don't expect it. I'll find that video and send it to you.
Yeah.
We cannot post it on our Instagram.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah.
It's legit a man pooping, but who knows? What an internet.
But if you're into that.
The movie, which is one of my favorites, it is Jack, starring
Sure.
Robin Williams and Jennifer Lopez. Remember that South Park episode? Yeah, great movie. Super sad.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. Sucks that Bill Cosby's in it.
For sure.
But yeah, but it's a good one.
Yeah.
I always loved it. So I recommend watching it still, but like make sure you watch it, like download it or something so that, you know, Bill Cosby's estate doesn't get any money or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is he dead yet? How is he not dead
No,
yet?
but I think he'll die in disgrace in prison probably. He's going to prison, right?
He's in prison, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, he's terrible. This is crazy. This is shout out to somebody who fell off the face of the earth and doesn't want to be associated with us anymore, for good reasons. So on August 1st, this one goes out to Jer Bear. George Railroad Martin publishes his epic fantasy novel, A Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire.
Wow. Huge.
It came out that long ago.
That's crazy.
Who knew?
Yeah.
This is not like a nostalgia thing. It's just like a holy shit. It's been out for that long.
Yeah. So like 12 years later, they started season 1 or whatever.
Yeah,
Maybe
and
longer.
we're here discussing How to Kill a Monster. So what's really the better book?
Yeah, come on. Goosebumps and RL beat you to it, Railroad.
Yeah, this isn't the Thrones cast, so
Yeah.
eat it. Also, that month was the Summer Olympics in Atlanta, Georgia.
Cool.
And the Dream Team 3 won gold in basketball. I mean, get stuffed, other countries.
Yeah.
This isn't to be we're going to beat you in basketball and baseball. Like, it's just going to happen.
For sure. Especially in the 90s. If you take a little time machine back to the 90s and you want to play basketball with the USA, sorry, you're going fucking down.
There's a reason the Monstars went and stole everybody from the U.S.
Correct.
when they were going for it. Yeah.
Yep.
Because, it's to the point where, we have such good basketball players that we needed to make the Harlem Globetrotters for the people that are just too good. They're like the hidden characters.
Yeah.
They're like the Officer Dick and Wolverine
Yeah.
and Shrek. They're just too good. They're
Yeah.
overpowered.
Yeah. They had to move
So
to
it's
their own
unfair.
special league because their dribbling was just so unbelievable. It was taking up too much
Yeah.
time. They're too good at it, so they kept doing it. And they're like, this is taking forever. Let's just put these guys in their own league. They'll dribble up a little storm. We'll throw it in the hoop.
They slam and jam.
Yeah.
On August 27th, Seventh Heaven premiered.
Whoa, I know a little
Remember
bit
that
about
show?
that. Yeah, 7 Minutes in Heaven.
No. This is the Jessica Biel vehicle about kids whose dad is a churchman.
Yeah. No,
I think.
I recall.
Have I ever watched an episode? Nah.
No, but
You?
I remember the font of the title card. This is the Seventh Heaven font. I remember.
I've only seen as much as Seventh Heaven that would be in a commercial.
Right.
It'd be like Seventh Heaven happening in Seventh Heaven.
Yeah.
Get dunked on. So this book only was reprinted once in the 2003 reprint, the one that has the colorful border, the slime's
Yes.
creeping in on it.
Yep.
Something that we saw with Say Cheese and Die again, the apparel removed the word kill in the same way that it removed the word die.
Oh.
So we're getting a little PC,
How to Monster.
which is blown away because we're just getting into the Attitude Era of WWF. So
Yeah.
Well, Goosebumps are pulling back. Vince McMahon is making old women birth hands. So it actually read Home Alone with a Monster, which basically sums up this book.
Which is it's on the back of the book.
It is, but this book can be summed up. We don't even need to do the plot.
That's true.
It's the movie Home Alone
With a monster.
monster.
Yep, that's true.
Bookmark trading card Tear Out was in this as well.
Dave.
You still have it?
Well, the cards are
Oh,
gone.
the
The
bookmark.
bookmark remains. I almost pulled it out because I wanted to use it for this book,
It's pretty cool.
but I left it for now.
Well, if you had the card, you'd learn some info. Our main characters in this book, Clark and Clark's sister, what's her
Mrs. Clark.
name? Gretchen, was it?
Yeah, it was Gretchen.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's the weirdest name, but I mean, it's because it's like you expect her to be a witch because her name's Gretchen.
Yeah,
and that's a very witch
I thought
name.
that too, but then also wasn't like the Mean Girls protagonist
Oh, yeah,
was
Gretchen.
Gretchen Wieners or something?
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, I love, man, with Gretchen and Wieners.
Now you're talking. Now we're cooking with
I'm
gas,
Gre-
Dave.
I'm Gretchen for some Wieners. So, we never got their last name,
Right, it's Wieners.
but it's Alan,
Alan, like Tim?
like Tim,
Like Wrench?
But you don't learn it in the TV episode or in the book, but their name is on that card.
Wow.
That trading card.
Incredible.
Pretty cool.
Hey, can I read you getting ready to read a Goosebumps book by Curly? On the back of this bookmark, here are the steps to get ready to read Goosebumps. Can I hit you with them?
I'd be pissed if you did.
Perfect.
Man.
Number 1, refill Cuddles' and it's not Cuddles apostrophe, it's Cuddles apostrophe S. Water dish with more monster blood. 2, make sure nothing is hiding beneath the kitchen sink. And kitchen is lowercase, sink is capped. Okay.
It's the sink.
Right, yeah.
It's named sink, that sink.
Put on your haunted mask. 4, go eat a bowl of worms. Parenthetical, a tasty late night snack. 5, rub on some Instatan. 6, jerk off. 7, reset your cuckoo clock of doom. Real number 7, check your closet for Slappy and any other dummies. 8, listen for the barking ghost. 9, kiss your mummy goodnight. Good night, mummy. 10,
Good night, mommy.
now you're ready to get goosebumps. Try not to scream too loud. And then look at our boy Curly. He's never looked scarier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He looks blind. His glasses are
They're-
all the way up.
They're John Lennon glasses, but they're sunglasses. Dave, this bookmark's coming out. Basically, I'm gonna tear it out. You ready?
Wait, hold it up to the microphone. I want this to be sonically pleasing.
Okay. Wait, ready? So this book, this is
You're probably just hearing like a...
yeah, I'm just batting it around like a cat. This book is from when I was a child, from 1996. Dave, I'm going to show you in the corner here. I wrote my name when I got it.
Matter.
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 And now this is huge. I'm going to rip this. The bookmark. That was the sound of the bookmark coming right out.
One fell swoop.
Reading is a scream.
Ah!
There it is. It's Curly
I'm reading.
with his ascot enjoying some coffee. Decaf,
Hells yeah.
I'm sure. Okay, well, what else? Time and place. Are we good?
So the monster in this book is actually a real cryptid.
Oh, yeah? He's an actual
I thought
monster?
it was just a weird... Yeah, because it was a weird description. I was like,
Yeah.
what monster is this actually? It's so strange.
Right.
But in Louisiana folklore, we brought it back, the Honey Island Swamp Monster is a cryptid said to have been in Honey Island Swamp since 1963.
Wow, that's cool.
And it's the same thing. It's basically like kind of the head of a crocodile with the body of a gorilla.
Okay, yeah.
And in the Goosebumps film, he is referred to as the Bog Monster.
Yeah.
And before we hopped on, I watched the episode.
Oh, cool.
The monster is super weird. It's in the intro. It's like the head looks like a featherless crow, but it's orange, and it's coming out of the chest. It kind of looks like a Ultraman / Godzilla kaiju.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's like bright orange and boogery. And instead, they go to their grandparents who have a gumbo hut. Like they make gumbo and sell gumbo at their little shack. And instead of filling food with poison, which they do in the book,
Yeah.
which I can see how could be problematic to show kids that on TV, they make a gumbo so spicy. They make a real spicy gumbo.
Wow.
And it has the best line ever from Clark. I wish it was in the book. It's the best shit.
Tell me.
He's running away from the monster, and the whole time he's like, I'm from the city. Why do I have to go to your family's place in the bayou? He says, all I want to do is go back to the city where the monsters are human.
That's great.
Awesome. How awesome is
Oh,
that?
I got chills.
Yeah, it's great. All right, so we got to blow through this plot. I want you to get going.
Yeah. Well, so here's the plot. Basically, is as Dave just said, you got Clark and Gretchen. They are step siblings. So, Gretchen and Clark are on their way to Gretchen's father's parents' house in the swamp, basically, and it's like a castle. It's described as sort of like a castle in the swamp.
Do you know what the name of the town is?
I do not remember at all.
There's a part where they say, "Hey, we're going to Mudtown," which I'm not a big anal sex boy, but if I was, I would
say that before every insertion.
Walk in, Matt, and I say, "Hey, we going to Mudtown?" And from now on, my butthole will forever be called Mudtown.
I mean, look,
keep going.
You gotta call poop mud. You just gotta. It's a real hoot. It's very PG.
It sure is.
It's just a fun time. You call poops mud pies. It's good. It's good. So they're neither of the kids are enthusiastic about going to their grandparents while their parents, who are refrigerator salesmen and women, have to go and sell refrigerators in Chicago. That's not true. I don't know what they're doing.
They're going to Atlanta.
Yeah. Hot Atlanta.
It's kind of saucy. It's saucy because they work together. They're coworkers.
Yeah.
And both their parents got divorced when they were 2.
Yeah.
And then got married when they were 3. And I was like, RLS, are you saying that they got frisky in the workplace, kind of? And because both their marriages end the same time, and then they get married only a year later.
Yeah.
And they're coworkers. Something seems a little...
It was already in the works.
Who knows what the situation... Yeah, who knows what the situation was before? Maybe they both had terrible, abusive, racist significant others. So.
Could be.
But it seems a little...
A little suspicious.
And knowing the family of the father, learning the stock he comes from,
yeah.
I wouldn't really not think they're pieces of shit. So... Pieces of mud, excuse me.
Thank you. And so they get to this castle in the woods, and I mean, it's sort of nice, but they hear a lot of screams and sounds from the woods, and they think it's like Gretchen is spooking herself out. She's like, oh, it could be a swamp monster. Probably not. Could be. Probably not, though. And
but who knows?
But who knows? And Grandma and Grandpa are a little weird. Like Grandpa, on the back of this book, it says Grandpa Eddie is totally deaf, which is not true. Actually, he's just hard of hearing. Like he hears stuff, but he just misconstrues it. And RL has a blast with this. As we've discussed, He loves taking advantage of people's disabilities and like having fun with them. And and he doesn't like the overweight. He doesn't.
Famously, there was the one person who lost his leg in the war, and he keeps toppling over and crushing things. He falls through a cake.
Correct. That's right. Yeah.
What is that one? My Stubby Uncle, I think was the name of that book.
That was My Stubby Uncle. Then there was the guy who got his ass blown off in Nam, and that was tough. It was called I Can't Sit Down. And it was just it was like 21 chapters of somebody sliding down a chair. So they're at the house, and it's not bad, honestly. It's like they get great food. A weird thing about that, though, is that Grandma keeps making extra food, like so many pancakes that like not any person could eat, and like an extra pie and all this stuff. And she's like, well, I like to have the leftovers, and like she's just making up excuses as to why. But it's like repeatedly where the kids are noticing and they think it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
And
and also they like Clark hates it there because number one, there's no TV, which is like the 90s kid version of no Wi-Fi.
For sure.
They don't have a phone. The closest one is in town.
Yeah. They're very isolated.
And they don't have a car, which is a lie because they totally have a car.
Yeah, they say it's getting fixed, so they'll have it like in a week or something.
And they drive into town to get their phone messages, and stay there all the time. It's just, I don't know. So they are isolated.
Yeah.
The most isolated. So then Grandma makes pancakes, and it is. Let me say, if this was a different year, I would talk all about the batter mess and the description of the batter dripping off Grandma's luscious lips.
Uh-huh.
But of course, I'm not going to say anything.
No.
Because Grandpa brings these pancakes, sorry, wrong cakes, upstairs, and it's a mystery as to why.
Yeah, she keeps bringing food upstairs. What's going on with that?
And she's super excited because they're going to make sweet-ass sugar rhubarb pie.
Hell yeah.
And isn't it like, it's italicized? It's like sweet as sugar rhubarb pie.
Yeah.
But every time I read it, it was always like sweet ass sugar.
Hey, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Everybody loves a rhubarb.
And they set up the kids to like get fucked because like, they're like, hey, you know, like don't go outside. There's alligators. You'll die.
Yeah.
But you can explore our castle house that
Right.
has like 2 small windows.
Yes. But they say, don't go. You'll see a room that you'll want to go in, which, like, isn't there, like, a key in the door?
I was going to say, the key is in the door.
Right. So, like, but hey, don't turn the key. It's very easy to do it. If you breathe too hard, the key's going to turn. Don't go near it. And they're like, okay, obviously I'm going to go check this out now.
Yeah. They're like, what's in it? Like antiques?
Yeah. It's a mess in there. Don't
like-
look in there.
Yeah, it's super interesting. It's a mess. It's like all great stuff,
Yeah.
but it's a mess. So don't go in. It's awesome, by the way. Like I'm better for seeing it, but like don't go in.
But you don't go in. And at one point, Clark wants to play tag, and tags Gretchen, and she's trying to find Clark, and she, I think she even avoids that room, doesn't she? Or does she open that room?
She does. Well, they're like hide and seeking or something, or tagging,
Yeah.
and they run up the stairs, and there's a stairwell that just leads to like a pit, like the
Right.
They're in like the Home Alone 2 house. They run upstairs, and then it's a drop at when you turn the corner.
Yeah.
To like the basement.
Yeah,
or
there's a
some
little
shit.
work that needs to be done there, right? If a staircase is missing and you have children in your house, you should probably figure that out.
Also, it seems dirty. A lot of the rooms are either super dirty or barren. They're like the rooms are giant with tiny, tiny windows, and they only have like a bed, a dresser, and that's like it.
Mm-hmm.
But they find a room when they're exploring that are like filled with cool magazines from all
Right,
and
newspapers
times
and
and
stuff.
And it's like just tons of cockroaches that jump
Right.
out and attack the kids
Mm-hmm.
and like.
But
then they of course go in the room.
right, and she finds like a dumbwaiter or something because she thinks Clark might be hiding in there. I don't know how the dumbwaiter's
Yeah.
associated. I shouldn't have brought it up.
They just brought it up, but it has nothing. There's a lot that has nothing to do with
Yeah.
this book. It doesn't help the plot. Like Grandpa's Hard of Hearing is just part of. I'll get to it in my good writing, but
Yeah.
RLS's masterclass comedy book.
he
this
he
book-
loves it. Yeah.
This is the first book that literally made me laugh out loud. I legit lolled.
That's great.
I'm not even joking. I was like, huh.
Jovial Bob, he did it. He
He
accomplished it.
did it. Because there's stuff you'll read stuff and be like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
But like, there's very few things where because the pacing and stuff where he made me laugh. I laughed.
Hey,
He did it.
that's great.
So they open it up. What do you see? It's a swamp monster, head of a crocodile.
Yep.
Well, no, crocodile is that like fake meth that ruins your muscles.
Right.
Crocodile and a body of like a green alligator, it's like a green gorilla with an alligator head, and it's covered in moss and dirt, and it's just fucking going hog wild horny into some blueberry
For
pancakes.
sure. It's
all
slurping
been
them
there.
up good. It's doing its thing. And then it's like it gets real mad because it's being watched while it's feasting. And
Don't judge him.
And yeah. And it's real scary. They're in shock. And basically they like leave the door open and it chases them. And now they're in this house with this monster. To make matters worse, they're literally trapped in the house, and Grandma and Grandpa are gone. They like boarded up the windows and shit, and like locked them
Yep.
inside and left. And they left them 2 letters. Why make them 2 separate letters and not just like a couple pages in one envelope? Who knows? But they say in the first letter, like, sorry, we had to go to town to get help. for the monster, and it's like safer for you to be inside with him than outside. But what happened was Grandma and Grandpa, we left the door open to the outside a few weeks ago, and a swamp monster got in, and instead of letting it back out, we decided to trap it. What was the rationale for that?
And feed it. In the episode, it makes more sense because they realize this is like a weird plot hole, where Grandpa's always hunting and like kills alligator for their or crocodiles. I don't know which one's in Louisiana, but he saw the monster and shot it because he was afraid of it, and then dragged it back home. And he thought it was dead, but it was alive, so it was stuck in that room.
Right.
That makes sense. But it just got into the house, and they're like, it's there, but don't worry, you'll be completely safe as long as you don't open it. And they're like, well, too late for that.
Yeah.
And then, as read in the beginning, it's like, hey, you probably, we missed you, so we tricked you here, but we probably shouldn't have come, which is evident by them driving away once they realize the monster is safe and leaving the monsters out there.
Yeah, it says, we didn't want to tell your parents about the creature, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah. A few weeks ago, a swamp monster invaded our house. We captured it in the room upstairs. Then we didn't know what to do with it. We didn't have a car, so we couldn't get to a phone to call for help.
Lie. You just drove away in it.
Yeah. And we lived in terror for the past few weeks. We were afraid to let the monster out.
Because he's so angry.
Yeah. And then it says, we know it's unfair to run off now, but we're just going for help. We'll be back as soon as we can find someone. Anyway, yeah, so they're being chased around by the monster. It's a cool title. I was going to say that from the outset as well, because it's different. I mean, it's different from the rest of the books, but just how to kill a monster, that sort of instructive vibe that it gives is fun. And they do that because they do try a series of ways to try to evade / kill it.
But in the end of the letter, if it does get out, you must find a way to kill the monster.
Right. Yep.
And they check in. Did we mention all the doors are locked and the windows are nailed shut from the outside?
Yeah, it's like a project that would take like 3 days. Grandma and Grandpa do it in like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, we have an idea. We'll let it chase us to that staircase that doesn't exist. It'll like fall in this pit, and hopefully that'll kill it. And so they try it. They do the stunt where they like jump onto the railing and hold on while the monster chases them and plummets, and doesn't really work. Kind of like knocks it out for a second, but ultimately just makes it mad. Then they're like, hey, it really likes food. There's an extra pie on the counter, and Gretchen like stuffs it with fucking rat poison.
This is my favorite part of the book. It's the best part of the book.
It's crazy. She's like a chemist. She goes goes under the kitchen sink. She's like pouring bleach in there. She grabs Clark and she's like, "Hey, take a big old dump in this. Fire a mud pie in here." And she puts all kinds of shit in there. And she's like, at the last second, she shoves like 5 mothballs into it.
I think this is the part where I laughed. Like I thought this was so funny. I don't know, Gretchen, Clark argued. I don't think that's going to work. Charlie whimpered behind the closed door. Oh, they have a dog too, and they've just been like throwing the dog in closets and stuff. Yeah. I found a fork and lifted up the pie crust with it. Then I searched the cabinet. Damp with green mold growing on the pipes, blah, blah, blah. I found a jar of turpentine sitting on the shelf right in front of me. The lid was screwed on tight. I twisted hard. It was hard to open. Slowly poured an entire jar of turpentine into the pie. Yuck, that stuff stinks, Clark said, holding his nose. I studied the pie. It was wet and runny now. I think we need something to soak up the turpentine, I told Clark. This should do it. I held up a can of drain cleaner. I sprinkled the blue drain cleaner crystals over the pie. That made the rhubarb bubble and fizz. Clark leaped back. I think that's enough, he said. I ignored him. I stuck my head under the sink and came up with 2 jars. Rat poison, I exclaimed, reading the dirty label on one. Excellent. The other jar was filled with ammonia. Hurry, Clark urged. I hear the monster. He's coming. I sprinkled the pie with rat poison and poured in the ammonia too. The monster's groans came closer. Each time he groaned and growled. I jumped. I found an old can of orange paint and dumped it into the pie. That's enough. We have enough, Clark insisted in a panic. Okay. I just want to make sure it works. I shoved in a handful of mothballs. Hurry. Close it up. He's coming. The monster's footsteps pounded the living room floor. Hurry, Clark begged. I sprayed the top of the pie with bug spray. Gretchen, like, this is the part where I legit, because he's like, it's here, and she's like, yeah, cool, we're done. And it's just like, I fucking spit in it. Like, it's like, hey, come. And I just imagine him being like, it's here. And she's just like, huh? Shh, like spraying. Like, it was so comical and Looney Tunes that I loved it.
It is very funny. And it's funny that he says, like, close it up. Like, you can't, like, there's a flap you could pull. It's like,
so funny.
She cuts a square of dough. She puts it back on top. She puts it in the oven for 25 minutes.
It's so funny, too, that she's just like, oh, this is ammonia. Like, it's just, like, R.L. Stine, he just made it so goofy and funny for the parents, I think, too. It was really good.
It was a treat.
Of course, they couldn't do this in the TV episode because teaching kids how to kill someone is fucked up. So they literally make their own gumbo in, like, 3 seconds. It's stupid. Yeah. But, of course, the monster comes in, finds 2 fresh rhubarb pies, eats those, but then eats their pie and falls down dead.
Yeah.
But then they find another door. They open it up. The monster's still alive. There's 2 shovels there. Gretchen decides to, like, swing and smashes the shovel on the monster. Yeah. And it's like, what the fuck, man? And then she goes and grabs the other shovel. And it's just like, nah. And grabs the shovel and breaks it over its knee.
Yeah.
And then decides to eat Clark.
Yes. Which is a scary part. And Clark's, gaping, looking into his gaping hole in his face, and there's bugs in there and shit, and it licks him, gives him a lick, and then suddenly it's able to speak, and it says, "You human?" And they go, "Yeah," and it's like,
Who's asking?
I allergic to human," and then it dies.
So, my girlfriend's allergic to bees.
Mm-hmm.
She knows exactly what those fuckers look like.
Yeah.
Like, exactly.
Yeah. I'm allergic to peanuts and tree nuts. Hey, nobody try to kill me. And I will not, if I can avoid it, eat a jar of peanut butter.
Yeah, but if you saw one, you wouldn't be like, yum. Wait a second.
Yeah.
There says peanut on here.
After I ate it.
Yeah. But also, how do you, as a monster, how do you learn you're allergic to humans if you have not already seen one and tasted one?
For sure.
And apparently this is like an instant death, so I don't know if they have like Bayou EpiPens.
Well, not for this
guy. But that's fine. That's fine. We'll just, in the episode, they're like, is it dead? And great comical moment, it literally explodes into slime and just like sprays them.
That's great.
Yeah, it's
good
funny.
for Goosebumps.
It was good. And so they decide to get out. They can get out through that. There's like a window, glass door in that secret room they find. And as they're through the swamp, they were like, we should read the second letter. They open it up and it's like, hey, listen, we locked you in there because it's not safe out in the swamp because its brothers, sisters, and parents are out there and they've been looking for him because they hear him. Yeah. So it's not safe to be outside. So they were locked inside to be safe, but now they're outside and they say they've been whistling for him. And what do they hear? Woo, whip.
Yep.
Whistle. I can't whistle, so that was my best.
I loved that. I wish I could do the finger whistle, like a dad does or a coach. Hey, there you go.
Here we go. I did it. Every FNF podcast with Carl, they had a whole episode where like the main character in Final Fantasy X teaches his summoner how to whistle, and their thing is they're going to learn how to do that fingers in your mouth whistle by the end of the show.
That whistle is king.
Yeah, that's their kickflip that we're supposed to do.
Yeah, well, we got I almost said 10 years. I am not 30. Neither of us are 30. We are 25. We have 15 years to kickflip.
When were we supposed to do it by?
I was saying by the time we're 40.
Oh, I thought it was until 2020.
I might have said that originally. I'm changing it now.
I think that too, but because this year was like stay inside and we're doing our civil duties, we should say, well, we're going to push it back. By 2023, this podcast, everyone on this podcast will be able to do a kickflip.
Okay. 2023. So I'll be 36. Could arrange that. Yeah, before my bones are too old and brittle. Let's do it.
Bone. So I had a lot of good stuff.
Tell me.
we're so late, but like, good description of the trees, except when they were bad. I love this one defeated funny part where like, they hadn't seen the parents since they were like 6. And Clark doesn't want to be there. He's like, all I remember about them is that they smell. And she's like, they don't smell.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And then immediately her inner thought, she's like, but he was right. Grandma and Grandpa did smell. I was like, oh, that's
I wrote
funny.
that too. I had like my miscellaneous. I was like, page 4, G-Pa and G-Ma stink.
Yeah. Sharp chitters, low moans, shrill cries. Individual fragments I liked.
Yep.
We're really happy you're here. Grandma's blue eyes twinkled. We don't have many visitors. I thought that was just very endearing and sweet. They said this was sad. No use having a phone, as most people we know are no longer, well, alive. And I was like, oh, old people sadness. RLS shows and doesn't tell. The bedroom is described and conjures the idea of a prison. And he even brings up the bars on the bed after talking about the window. So it's kind of, really, really good. So he calls it the house kind of like a prison later, but it literally becomes a prison. So that's fine. But he shows and doesn't tell. So I loved it. On page 33, the sentence, now a glob of batter nested in the thin strands of her hair.
Yeah.
The room glowed a sickly yellow from the single dirty bulb dangling from the ceiling. They find a doll and its eyes are like burned out and it was super creepy. Good description. The putrid smell of decay is a great term. The poisoning was very funny. That's what I got.
Yeah. So I had some similar stuff. I thought a lot of the description was really good. And from right off the bat, like page 2, it says, it was late afternoon and the cypress trees began to cast long shadows over the marshy grass. I stuck my head out the window. A blast of hot, humid air hit my face. Just a nice general description. I also would say that kind of translates over to bad because there are fragments, like we said. It was late afternoon, period, and but it's fine. Same thing on page 3. It says, I stared at the trees, period, at the branches, all draped in long gray webs. They dangled from every tree, curtains of gray. They made the swamp look really gloomy. So it's good. Page 4, they mention a scrunchie, which is very 90s and fun. The transition between chapters, I think. Yeah, between chapter 3 and 4. It says, I'd heard lots of stories about swamp monsters, and I'd read some ancient legends about them. Could they be real, I wondered? Do swamp monsters really exist? Little did I know that I would soon find out the answer to that question, the hard way. Then, on page 17, chapter 4, it says, yes, they do. No way, I told Dad. That can't be where they live. So it's like, do swamp monsters really exist? And then the next chapter starts, yes, they do. But it's not the question that's being answered. It's just that's a clever transition. There's some great, again, there's swamp description on page 29. This is good because the description is good and it's juxtaposed with these howls that they hear. Because at first it's positive. It says something purple fluttered on a nearby tree limb. A purple bird with a bright orange beak. I'd never seen a bird like that before. Then I heard the sounds again, the horrible howls, the shrill cries. I thought that was nice. I also had the doll with no eyes, and the fact that Gretchen called it her. I didn't like that. Call it, please.
Yeah.
It's an inanimate object, and I don't like you personifying it. Then the blueberries and Beetlejuice thing. I think this was the monster description where it was covered in, it said blueberries and Beetlejuice oozed from his mouth. And hey, don't say Beetlejuice more than twice.
You already did.
No, I didn't. And then
somebody stop me.
Yeah.
Was that, wait.
That was the mask.
That was the mask.
Which I was reminded of when you talked about the Goosebumps episode and the spicy gumbo. It's like when he swallows the bomb and he burps.
Oh,
he says,
yeah.
That was a spicy meatball. Page 65 is, I wrote it's funny. Why is it funny? Well, I'll take my own word for it. And that's what I have for my good. How about your bad?
At first I liked... he glanced out the windows, out at an eerie cypress tree with their long beards of gray. This is like a cypress tree novel. The cypress tree is in it more than Grandma and Grandpa. Every time he sees it, he's like, this is called a cypress knee, which pops out from the side. Like, I like the descriptions of, like, they look like gray beards. I hated that it was like the long beards of gray.
Yeah.
Like, long gray beards. But he uses the same description over and over and over. And I'm like, all right, now it's bad. Yeah. My second bad is we get it. Cypress trees look like beards. I hated so much. As I neared the bathroom door came into view. Like, no shit.
That's very funny.
Just that it was allergic to humans.
Yeah, definitely.
And I just want to say, I'm going to give it up. These are the worst grandparents ever.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, what could be worse than trapping?
They lie.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
But on the good, I'll go back to good saying that RLS killed it with the humor. Even like Grandpa.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just, like he would just be like, yeah, Grandpa, like, I like your glass plates. And he's like, you saying my ass rates high on a list of 1 to 10? I'm your grandfather. Don't fuck me. Like, like anything that kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, oh, wow, those are some spooky falls. He's like, you like my stinky balls? Like,
yeah, there are a few occasions of Gretchen or Clark saying something, and he's like, what? And then gives it back to them.
He always has something, in a funny way. It was good.
Yeah, so my bad, I just had a couple things. On page 37, she says, what a mystery. I hate that. And then the ending. I think him suddenly talking and saying I'm allergic to humans sucks. Like, it's whatever. It's a book for 9-year-olds, but
it's fine. It was a twist, and it's overall good. So the book.
And also on page 63, the monster grunts with pleasure. Just want to throw that out there. What's your spook and scare?
I thought of one more Grandpa one.
Oh yeah, please.
It's be like, he's like, I want pancakes. She's like, oh, I'm baking more. And she's like, what about your gaping hole? That's a stretch, just like his gaping hole. I'm going to say when they realize that they're locked in, you were locked into this house in the middle of the swamp. Yeah. So it's like danger outside and now danger inside. So even if you escape, you're fucked and you're already fucked. And in the letter where it's like, you have to kill this monster. Yeah. Like, I wrote down this would be the best video game.
Yeah.
Where it's like you have a house, like it just starts fresh every time and you got to team up to kill the monster. This is the Goosebumps game we should get. Yeah. But that's mine. And then my runner-up was like the cockroaches literally like crawled up their arm and like scarabed through their skin pretty much. Yeah. It was so harshly descriptive and that was gross. But,
I do hate that. Yeah.
Yeah. The feeling of being trapped with a murderer.
Yeah, I would say I didn't write one down, but thinking about it now, I think it's scary after they killed the monster and then they're out in the wilderness with like some unknown number of other monsters who are now going to be mad that you like killed their family member.
Yeah.
That sucks. So I'd say that.
Hopefully that allergy runs in the family.
I would hope so. Lick me, please. Yeah. I say that all the time, famously. Best dressed.
I'm going to say Grandma when she's covered in batter.
Yes, I had the same thing, Dave.
Because that's all she needs to wear, and she's beautiful.
Yeah, correct. Although it is paired with this wonderful description on page 32. I took a good look at Grandma. She was a disaster. Her face was striped blue and white. Flour and blueberry stains filled the creases of her wrinkled cheeks. And she had blueberry batter.
Fill those creases.
Yeah, fill them up, baby. I have the same thing.
Nice.
Alternate title. Tell me.
I'm either gonna. I got a couple. Bad Grandpa.
Yeah.
That's the movie starring
Johnny Knoxville.
Johnny Knoxville. But actually, no. I'll do a different one. How about The War with Grandpa?
I love it. Yeah, I would do. Yeah, go ahead.
Or just Home Alone with a monster.
Perfect.
As in Home Alone the movie with a monster.
Right. I think, in one of my notes, I wrote down blueberries and Beetlejuice. I think that's what I would call it. I think that's cute.
I like it. You said it 4 times now. We're
Oh,
fucked.
shit.
Okay, where's the
Where
witch?
is the witch? Well, it's got to be Grandma and Grandpa, I think, because they fucking summoned this monster to their house.
Yeah.
And they kept it there.
I was going to say Gretchen just because she's got a witch name, and why not? You could be a witch. That's
Sure,
fine.
but anybody can if you'd like to. We won't stop you.
Yeah, do what you want to do, Gretchen.
Now, I think the most obvious thing, the most luscious liquor. I mean, is there a better example in the entire series than this?
No, the monster is the most luscious.
He is
liquor.
so luscious. He's licking so much to his detriment.
Yeah, he licked himself to
Yeah,
death.
and I mean, we've all been there.
I mean, we haven't, but
We will.
I don't know.
I'm laying down sexily as a close to the pod.
You look like a Jeff Goldblum from a la Jurassic Park.
Hell yeah.
But you're laying the wrong way. But
Well, you know, sometimes we have to make our own path.
So yeah, that's the whole thing. We were gonna kill somebody today, but we're running on a schedule.
I have a schedule. I have things to do.
And we came in only 5 minutes after where we wanted to. It's pretty
That's
good.
beautiful.
So it is beautiful. And you know what else is beautiful?
Our listeners.
Halloween. And you listeners. Yeah.
Yep.
We love you
Hell
guys.
fucking yeah. Hope you have a great Halloween, even though, you know, it goes without saying, super weird year. Not very fun Halloween. We hope you do something, but do it safe.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just this is our season. This is where we really feel most like ourselves.
It's great.
I wish we could
So-
get together, Dave, and do a brewery.
I would love to do
Maybe
a
we could do it
brewery.
virtually.
I was going to say, why don't we just do can we do like a live Instagram
Oh
brewery,
yeah, we
maybe?
could do that. Do the like in conversation thing that the feature they have.
Yeah, we would just have to find a way to get the same beers.
Right. Yeah, we could do that.
Which we could do.
We'll figure it out. We'll work out the
Figure it out.
logistics.
I don't have many
off
places. I don't have many places that sell Lucy's, but
Yeah.
I can figure out a place and we can do that. Yeah, we'll figure
figure
it
it
out.
out,
All right.
baby.
Regardless, we'll give some more Halloween content, and then November, because you guys will be all spookied out. We'll take it
We'll
down.
switch it up.
We'll switch it up for you guys because we love you.
Hey, all right. Well, it's good to see all of you. Even though this is an audio medium and it's not live, and I will neither hear nor see you. I'm going off the rails, Dave. I think it's time to end.
Yeah. Well, let's get railed. I love you. Goodbye.
Bye.